Hi, welcome to the regular meeting of the Brisbane Planning Commission, Thursday, July 9th, 2015 at 7:30, Brisbane City Hall, 50 Park Place, Brisbane. Call to order?
Yes, Commissioner Parker.
Here.
Commissioner Reinhardt.
Here.
Commissioner Anderson.
Here.
And Commissioner Doe.
Present.
Note for the record that Commissioner Munir is out this evening.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
A motion to adopt the agenda of Thursday, July 9th, 2015.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Before we move on to the consent agenda calendar, does anyone have any requests to remove an item or discuss anything prior to adoption of the consent agenda calendar? I'm sorry.
I would like to discuss something.
Sure.
I would like to welcome our Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you. Welcome.
I think we have that on the agenda, but
Is
okay.
that on the agenda?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
Do it
You're
twice.
right, it is on the agenda.
Very welcome.
Double welcomes are welcomed, right?
Right.
Okay, so could we have a motion to adopt the consent calendar?
Okay, I make a motion to adopt the consent calendar.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
That means, just for the public, that the approval of the draft action minutes for May 14th, 2015 and May 28th, 2015 are approved as is. Thank you. Now it's time for oral communications. I see no one in the audience, so I don't think we need to open that or close that. In terms of written communications, we have Western City Magazine, On Common Ground, and not sure what this is. Second. The Bay Area Monitor. I think also in addition, for any of the commissioners who requested information or booklets on the Brisbane history, 2 were delivered, and the 3rd TBD. So, on to new business. Does the staff do this, or does the commission?
If you would like to, either way, I can go ahead. We'd like to welcome our new commissioner, Greg Anderson. I'm happy to have you here, and
yes.
I'll throw it out to you if you want to say a few words about yourself.
Thank you, Ken. Again, my name is Greg Anderson, and I have lived in Brisbane since late 2002. Is when we moved here. I live up on San Bruno Avenue, where we raise chickens, vegetables, and a pre-teenager.
All right.
Prior to...
In that order.
In that order.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always in that order. I was previously involved with the Citizens Committee to review the draft environmental impact report, and I was vice chair of that committee and primarily responsible for organizing all of the subcommittee meeting schedules and orders. So I'm looking forward to reviewing the FEIR and participating in other matters of the Planning Commission, and I thank you all for welcoming me.
We are
Great.
very excited to have a full
Yes.
panel again, and especially someone with the background for the EIR. Thank you so much for coming.
Should we welcome the chicken farmer?
I think you've been dubbed.
Well, I'm very pleased to see you on the Planning Commission, and I think you will contribute a lot to what we have a task before us. And all along, I thought that you were a good candidate, and I don't know why you were not applying and waited so long. But I'm glad that you are here, and hopefully we'll see all of us working together seamlessly, hopefully.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay.
No, for the record, too, obviously, Commissioner Munir joined us,
Yes.
Yeah.
all present.
5 minutes late. You started right on time today. Excuse me.
Oh, items initiated by the staff.
Yes, so a few items. First, as on the agenda, we have a updated Planning Commissioner handbook, which you should have received an email with a link to that.
Yes.
If not, let us know, and we'll make sure that you have that. So it's electronic. If you need paper, we can provide that, but we thought we would try electronic on this. And
I have not checked my email, so I don't.
okay.
I received it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, so check your emails. If you don't see that, let us know. We'll resend. And
Okay.
the next item, just to mention, our next meeting will be July 23rd, and we'll have a couple significant items there. First, we'll be bringing back the circulation element. The commission might remember we've had I think it's 3 workshops over the last number of months. The Complete Streets Committee has looked at the Complete Streets section, and so this will be the public hearing for the element in its entirety at this point, so that's coming on the 23rd. Also, we have a single-family home that's proposed for 875 Humboldt Road that the commission heard applications for related to a variance, a setback exception, both for height and a use permit for parking. That was heard in February. The Planning Commission approved that. The meeting was, the notices were posted, but staff erred in getting the mailing out to the neighbors. And so unfortunately that will be brought back to the commission on that night as well. So
Yeah, for your information, one of the citizens did contact me regarding that, and there was also an issue raised that the back retaining wall is supposed to be 4 feet, and he saw the construction details. It shows it's 10 feet high, but all I can tell him is that I'll bring it before the Planning Commission, and when we rehear this, hopefully, then you can bring your concerns. And one thing I must suggest to you and others too, that this kind of mishap creates a little bit of doubt in the minds of the citizens as to what's going on. So hopefully in future we all be careful.
no doubt, without a doubt. And we'll get into the details of that application, of course, in 2 weeks. But the wall is not part of it and has been, is to be only a 4-foot exposed wall plus a footing that will be subsurface. So.
But what happens is that this guy was already, this person was already doubting that there's a collusion between the staff and the applicant and all that. I said that's not the case.
Yeah,
it
was an honest mistake and one that cannot happen ever again.
It happens. We all are humans, but.
Okay, I also say, is that on?
So I think there were 3 people who approached me about it, and honestly, until now, I didn't realize that this was what they were referring to. I thought they were referring to a different plot. So I also have been speaking with people and encouraged them to come down to the meeting.
Right. So there's no change to the project, and without, I don't think we want to get into any more in terms of details because this is not a public noticed hearing tonight. I just wanted to mention that will be coming to you, and the project is the same. It's just an error in staff.
What will happen to the approval? We already approved it, so we're going to
It'll be a rehearing to consider the same application, but to have a chance to make sure that all of the interested public that want to speak have that opportunity.
So meanwhile, the construction will halt?
There was essentially a foundation permit issued, which brought this to our attention, which related to that lower wall. The lower wall is not affected by those permits that were approved by the Planning Commission. So that piece of the project can continue, but anything related to the construction of the house is going to.
Yeah, but the thing is, again, the concern is the citizens on the other side. One side, I think the notices were sent. The other side, the back side, the notices were not sent. So what happens if they disagree with now they come up with a saying that we disagree with the whole project? Then do we have to scrap the whole thing?
You will have to hear whatever arguments there may be for or against and reconsider based on the merits of the project as with any project.
Mm. Okay.
Well, let's hope for the best for the applicant.
So that's all staff has tonight.
Thank you. Items initiated by the commission. Any subcommittee updates?
Subcommittee updates?
Yeah.
Well, there was the workshop on the Sustainability Committee at the City Council meeting on June 15th. And so they were reviewing the key performance indicators in the entire document, and with the request to recommend to send the recommendations back to the Sustainability Committee. So they did that, and overall the opinions were positive. And I think there were still a few of the city council members were going to send some feedback back to the committee, and there was a possibility or discussion of a continuance of the workshop. But as it stands, from what I recall, the document was pretty had favorable response, and it's going back to the Sustainability Committee with a few minor comments. So that was good news.
Okay, what about the other committees? Are there? Karen Cunningham was in one of the committee too, right?
That was the Green Building Ordinance.
Yeah.
I'm in that one as well, and that's on hold until some more of the state codes are fleshed out. Yeah.
Should we appoint a replacement for Karen?
I'm in that, and Ken is. Ken, did you want to add to that? Or?
Yeah, I would say it's probably something that once that committee reactivates, essentially, that would probably be the time to see how your different workloads are, and you might want to select somebody at that point.
That's good. That's good. Are there any other committee? What about the traffic committee? Is there anything going on with that?
Well, the planning commission does not have a representative on that. I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, in terms of there's the complete streets, there's also traffic. I don't really have an update for you on that.
We have the issue regarding the parking. That comes under the planning commission, the use of the parking in the whole city. So that affects the traffic flow, right? So again, some point we have to talk to John and see what our participation will be, if any.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So my understanding is that the City Council has asked the Planning Department to look at the codes for the upcoming new zoning. And is there an update on that? Can you talk about that a bit?
Can you be more specific in terms of what?
Wasn't there a meeting, I don't know if it's last meeting or the meeting before, where the City Council asked the Planning Department.
Are you talking about the Gateway project? Essentially the rezoning for housing to meet?
Right.
Yes, so we are actively working on that to essentially get a consultant on board and the council did authorize funds for that, and so that process is underway, and so we'll be coming back. I don't really have a complete update for you at this time, but
Now,
is
this going to be like a form-based codes, or how is this going to be designed?
or a precise plan. It'll be or some hybrid of that. I think that'll play itself out as we get into it more detailed. But the form-based codes essentially dictate architecture types and
Right.
all the way out to the street and very detailed. So I think it'll really be up to the city how that it will be up to the city how that process plays out and whether we give it that name or precise plan. I think what we've been referring to it as a precise plan, but it's going to include those elements that are form-based code-like,
Right.
if you will.
So I think I'm talking too close. My recollection of discussions earlier was that we might have some input from citizens and maybe even a workshop. I personally am very eager to be involved in some of the planning and design meetings, and so I just want to bring that up.
So we are part of the precise plan process is going to include a pretty extensive community engagement component. So not only public hearings, but workshops and focus group type of meetings. We really want to have a far and wide reach for this project. So there'll be many opportunities for not only commissioners but citizens at large to participate.
And in the interview process, is that going to be open, or is that just are we is this going to be something where the citizens can listen to the different people, or not really?
I'm not sure the details.
Do you mean for consultant selection?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. This. And so what is the timeline on this? Do you know at this point?
There's no formal timeline as of yet. I think in a very general manner, we've looked at perhaps an 8-month process, beginning in the late summer, with the community engagement happening.
You mean this August or next August?
No, 2015.
This year.
So at that point, you'll have found the consultant, or?
Correct.
Oh, how exciting!
Right, it's happening.
Oh.
But we'll continue to keep you apprised. I know that John had planned to bring forward a more formal informational item at a future hearing.
Okay.
So we will bring more information to you, detailed information, as it gets closer to revving up.
How it's going to affect the EIR for the Baylands? That's approaching pretty quick also.
Well, that's something I think we'll probably discuss as well in terms of scheduling.
Yeah.
Because then it will be too much to handle.
Well, and the Baylands would have considered the build out of this city as well within that. So I'll let John speak more to that at a future meeting. And
then the meetings, when are you thinking of starting the meetings for the Baylands? Do you know yet?
We don't, I don't, yeah. Right, yeah, so I think when John is back, the Baylands questions would be best for him in terms of schedule. I've heard generally, but I would rather
I just want to make sure I have
that to him.
The material well read by then.
Because I don't know which one will take the priority, the Baylands or the other one, if they're both at the same time, And,
they're both going to be very high priority.
Right, very high.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of other things. One is the update on council desires to have 7 people on the planning commission. Any update on that?
So I believe that was introduced as an ordinance and has yet to be actually voted on as a final vote. So it's been introduced, and it doesn't. I think essentially the ordinance would leave the option open to a future decision as to whether they actually go to 7 or not.
Yeah, I just hope that they don't, but we'll see.
Right.
I think 5 is already enough. Also, one more thing I want to bring it up is, since we have a new commissioner here, I guess you can transmit that information to John, that some kind of a training program be available for him, including going to that annual meeting.
Right, and that's,
so make
as
sure
my memory serves, I think that's usually in March, and so that's a little ways off, but we'll definitely
make sure there is
keep that on the radar.
money available, and also there might be some other, not besides there might be something on CEQA and all that. So
right.
if there are any plans come up, I think it's good for Greg to take a lead and start learning about those things. And may not be a bad idea to suggest that maybe you can sit with John and have a kind of an hour or two session to go over the planning handbook and all the issues related to the planning and what's coming up and what areas that.
And I believe, Greg, you can speak to this. I think you've already had a meeting of that.
Yes, exactly. We already have had a brief discussion, and I'm sure that he'll be available to me if more things come up as I become more familiar.
And it's very important that you get up to speed, because as you know, in August we will be looking at all this critical stuff coming up, and there will be a lot of questions raised. And unfortunately, later part of the August I will not be available.
Do you have specific dates at this point?
I'm leaving on August 12th, and I won't be back until end of September, possibly.
Well, I'm certainly appreciative of anything anyone can do to help me come up to speed. I've already been started on reading the FEIR and the new Commissioner's Handbook, and of course I've already read all of the DEIR, but I'm sure that there's a lot more for me to cover.
Yeah, well, if you need any help, I'm here.
We all are.
I can attest to the fact that we had good training from Mr. Renner.
I'm the lifetime training. Okay.
We were all trained by him.
So I'll let you know the exact dates when I will be out.
Okay.
I'm going out of country on August 12th, and also I'll be going out on August 1st through 4th. But I don't think there is any meeting during that time, is there?
I think the first meeting of August, I want to say, is the 13th.
Yeah, so I'll be
Miss both
I will
August.
be able to attend that one, possibly. And I hope it's not related to the two critical projects. But I'm sure these commissioners are up to speed now. Okay. So it's time to make a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of July 23rd, 2015.
I had another.
Oh, you have another question?
Are we going to have any more training, considering we do have a new member here, about the looking at the EIR or not? We had one meeting, which was the last meeting that Karen Cunningham attended, and
I believe there will be some. I'm sure there will be some kind of update for the Planning Commission to refresh in terms of process.
Yeah, John told me there was going to be a whole plan coming up for the FEIR.
Right.
That should be a refresher course for all of us, because it's been quite a while to be waiting for.
Right, it's been some time, so yeah, it makes sense.
It's coming.
It's coming.
it's exciting.
So, can
Anyone else?
anybody else not? Then I can make a motion to adjourn.
No more.
No more questions?
No.
Okay. You can
July
proceed.
23rd, 2015 at 7:30 p.m.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you then.
Pretty short meeting, but